Why don't you give me a sign? Like the sea that leaves a trail along that shore. It's not your problem, it's mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe, a London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me, or swear at me till the night turns into day. And it was a shame when daylight faded, because we didn't notice at all.
Hello, I'm Sophia Jessica, and welcome to the Fan Carpet.
Hiya, Kerry.
Hi, how you doing?
I think this is about the fourth time we've spoken over the years, you know.
Oh, stop it. Don't. Well, we had a bit of a blanket of 2 years where nothing happened.
Yeah.
So it's only been quite a while.
I know. Take it out the equation, that 2 years. So, yes, we're both on our travels and work and stuff. So,
It's glamour.
we're trying to fit all these in while we're just doing other stuff. So you've just finished, just very briefly, of course, Anything Goes.
Yeah.
I think it was just a few weeks ago now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been quite an experience for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a bit of a whirlwind, really. I mean, the whole thing was probably over just under 6 months, and we toured around the country. We did the 5 big cities, and then we went to London for a few months. And yeah, I mean, it literally in the blink of an eye, and it's gone. And already I'm on tour with something else.
I know. I mean, I think it must be nice to. Obviously, you've been involved. You know, Wicked, We Will Rock You. A lot of these, what we class as modern musicals that have been around a few years. I think it must be nice to do something that's a classic. You've got your Oklahomas, you've got your South Pacifics, you've got your 30s musicals like Anything Goes.
Yeah. Oh, it was a dream. I mean, it kind of came from nowhere, really. I wasn't really looking for a musical as such. I was really busy doing my concerts and albums and stuff. And I got this phone call saying, you know, would you consider playing Reno Sweeney? And I knew the show had been in the Barbican the summer before.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, those roles don't come around. And to work with people like Dennis Lawson and Simon Tello and Bonnie Langford, and I mean, it was a dream role, really. And I just loved it. I mean, I hadn't put a pair of tap shoes on for over 20 years, so that was a little scary, but I loved it. I loved every minute. The company were amazing. The audiences loved it. I forgot how funny it was. You know, it's a real funny show. And the dancing, the music, I mean, the Cole Porter music, you kind of forget how many brilliant songs are in it. You know, it's hit after hit after hit. And it was a really special moment in time, and I'm so grateful I got to do it.
What was it like to, obviously you've put your dancing shoes back on, you obviously, you know, you do everything, but you're going back to something which you haven't done for a few years. I mean, was it, I guess as a dancer, was it the muscle memory kick in there, and did it just come back?
It took a while. I mean, you know what, it's one of these, it is a little bit like riding a bike, tapping.
Yeah.
I was a little, I trained, you know, from a kid. I was tapping since I was like 5, and then tapped right through until I left college at like 19, but then literally hadn't done it since. Yeah. But it was a little bit like riding a bike. It took a little while for the you know, the muscle memory to come back, but it did come back. It's kind of like that technique that you learn and you don't forget it. Yeah, it was amazing. What I was more concerned about was picking up the routines, you know, because my brain just isn't
long routines.
Isn't like that anymore. And the tap routine is 9 minutes long. I was like, I don't know if I can retain that, but it's amazing. You know, I like challenging myself, and it's amazing what you can do when you put your mind to it. And I was so proud of it, and it was a real moment.
I mean, obviously you talk about muscle memory, but how did you prepare for that? Because obviously you're going from not doing something with, you know, a 9-minute routine for, you know, cardiovascularly even isn't easy. Is it?
No,
And then to speak some lib, you're speaking
Yeah.
some libretto after that.
Oh, I know. I mean, I've always been pretty active anyway. I'm really kind of aware of like my health and fitness, and always trying to keep relatively fit, keep up with my kids, to keep, you know, just, I think just it's become more important to me the older I get, is just to be fit and healthy. I watch what I eat. I want to put good things into my body. I want to make sure that it will work as long as it can. So I've always been pretty active, but for this, I did step it up. I started kind of running. I changed my exercise routine slightly, and yeah, just up to my aerobic fitness, so that I could stand next to some of those brilliant ensemble members who are in their 20s, and do that tap number and be able to sing at the end, because that's what people are coming to hear. You know, they're coming to hear me sing, and if I can't sing those big notes at the end of the number, you know, people are going to be really disappointed. So it was important to me to make sure I was fit enough, and it's been a real a bit of a gear change, and I've kind of continued it after the show, which is because I got really fit for the show. I wanted to continue it afterwards, so I'm loving it.
You're right, because as we get older, we forget that there's all these students, these wonderfully talented 20-year-olds coming out, and you go, where I was like that 2 minutes ago. What happened?
I know, and you still feel like that.
You do,
that, but you wake up the next morning and you're like, oh, my body hurts.
They just wake up the next morning and go out and do something, and they're all right.
Yeah, it takes a bit longer. But it's I'm enjoying being fitter, and I'm enjoying you know, being more aware. I think we're more aware of our health and our nutrition, and I think that it's a really good. I'm still learning, still trying to get it right.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't realize what impact it has on the voice, really. You know.
Oh my God.
Healthy.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was really apparent, actually, because I'm used to doing these big singing roles, and used to looking after my voice to accommodate that. But it was amazing how the knock-on effect of me just being more active and putting better nutrition into my body, how that worked with my voice. My voice just was great for 6 months. It really was.
Yeah. So I want to quickly move on of this collaboration with Brian May. Now, this, a lot of people don't know, but this goes back over 10 years. You know, this is something which
nearly 20 years it is, actually.
Yeah, well over 10 years. Yeah, you've had a collaboration with Brian May for many years. How did you first get involved with working with him back in the early 2000s?
Yeah, so Brian actually came to watch me in My Fair Lady, which I didn't know at the time. And I was on as a swing. I was in the ensemble that night when he watched, and I had a couple of lines to sing, and he kind of said, "Oh, who's that?" And they then found out that I understudied for the lead, and they came back and watched me play Eliza Doolittle, and they were casting We Will Rock You at the time.
Yeah.
And then they asked me to come in for We Will Rock You, which I did, and sang the songs and blah blah blah. I got the job. So then obviously I worked with Brian for a couple of years, because he was really hands-on with We Will Rock You. So we got to spend time with him and Roger throughout the show. And then as the show went on, they started to open the show in various other countries. It was going into Germany, into Spain, and they were opening it in Spain. And they had a famous singer, a famous Spanish singer, who was going to play my role in Spain, and she was going to release the song No One But You, which is what I sang in the show. So they wanted to make a bit of a deal of it, so they went to record No One But You, a big beautiful orchestral version of it, in Prague. They recorded the orchestra in Prague, and Brian called me and said, "You have to sing on this song, you have to sing on this arrangement." So he brought the arrangement back, and I sang on the arrangement. And kind of from there, he kind of said, "You know, I think you have more to give. I think you have you ever kind of thought of doing music on your own," kind of thing? I was like, "Not really, but okay, great." And he started to kind of discover just in the studio together where my music might go. And it took a long time. It took a good 10 years or 8 years, because we were just, he was off doing his thing and I was doing other shows. So it would be very sporadic. But we found a sound, and then obviously Anthems was the very first album that we did together. And then it kind of grew from there, and it's really evolved and changed how our dynamic is, how we perform together, how we work together. We kind of go off and do our thing, you know. He goes off and tours with Queen, and I go off and do a musical now and again, and then we come back together and make music. And it's really, I'm really grateful, honoured, privileged to work with him. He's like a, you know, he's like a dear friend, really. My kids call him Uncle Brian. You know, he's a friend of the family.
Cool
now,
uncle,
isn't it? I know.
Who's your uncle?
Cool.
That's Brian May.
They have no idea yet. I mean, they don't kind of get it yet. They will do, obviously, when they're older, but they have no idea.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, this collaboration, I guess that when you work with somebody for a long time, you're talking about that dynamic and that chemistry. You kind of know where each other's going on certain bits of a recording and stuff like that. And it becomes probably a lot easier, maybe, because you know what each other's thoughts are. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think, my 20-year-old self, when I was first going into the studio with him, was obviously overwhelmed and daunted and like, oh my God, you know, it's a ledge, and it is. I was speechless. I didn't really know what to say. Whereas now our dynamic is very, very different. It's very collaborative. I have obviously more to say, and I think, you know, I think we work well together like that, because I bring something very different to his table, you know, as he does to mine, which is also why we work together so well, because we're worlds apart in some ways, but we have a common denominator as, you know, he sings with his guitar and I sing with my voice, and it kind of works.
Cool. I mean, you know, of course, you've got this Queen Machine Symphonic. So how has this come about? I mean, this is big production stuff. You know, you've got your big arenas. You know, you've got lots of people watching. You've got fabulous cast and musicians. This must have been another, you know, a thing you would have said yes to as soon as you heard about it. Really, you know, it's not an easy choice. It's an easy choice to make.
Yeah, absolutely. So I met the guys. They invited me over to Denmark. They're a Danish band. They invited me over to watch them play, to hear them play, and they are huge in Europe, in Denmark especially. They're massive. And they play all these big festivals that have thousands of people in their audience. Anyway, I went to watch this festival where they were playing. They were the headliners. I mean, there's got to be 50,000 people watching them, and I was blown away. I was blown away by their kind of respect and passion for Queen music. You know, they're not trying to be anyone. They're not trying to do anything. They're just celebrating and love and playing the music of Queen, and they do it so brilliantly well. And what was amazing was just watching the audience respond to them. It was almost like this joint celebration. You know, it was amazing. So I watched them. Anyway, we had a little chat afterwards. We got around the piano and, you know, saw what might work, and obviously they knew my connection with Brian, and they wanted to add that into the show, mainly because they've been touring all over Europe, and to bring their show to the UK, I think they felt they needed something slightly different, because obviously we're the home of Queen. We have Queen here, and there are a lot of diehard Queen fans who feel kind of ownership over them. So I think they thought, if they bring a show here, it needs to be something magical. It needs to be something special. So that obviously adding me to the mix was something a bit different, and to put an orchestra on board too. So we have this amazing rock symphonic orchestra who are just brilliant, run by Matthew Freeman, who's fabulous. Yeah, he's brilliant. He's done all the arrangements, and they're different. You know, we've kind of thrown in slightly different arrangements to add a different flavour to the show, and to just put all the elements together. It's just really exciting, and I think after the few years that we've had, and also what we're going through at the moment with the Queen and with the energy bills, with the, you know, it's there's a somberness about the world at the moment, and I think this is just a really nice light relief night out. Go sing, let your hair down, have a good time, and that's it. And that's been really apparent. We've done 2 shows, and people have gone mental. You know, they've been on their feet, they've been singing, they've been laughing, they've been crying. It's been really quite emotional, and some of those people have held on to their tickets for nearly 3 years now. So that's a real, it's really kind of heart. It touches you, you know, that people have waited this long, and we feel it, you know, and it's just a really nice celebration of Queen music, and everybody's singing, and it's lovely. It's really fun.
I mean, you know, I mean, what's it like? I mean, Matthew Freeman, this is a conductor who is award-winning. He's worked in musical theatre. He's worked with orchestras. This is one of the top, you know, conductors in the world. I mean, what was the like working with him? Oh,
he's brilliant. And I think what's really nice about this particular show is that, again, a little bit like how Brian and I work, we're all from different worlds, and we all coming together. It's exciting for everybody because we all have to really listen. We all have to really engage. And ironically, Kenneth, our producer, was with us last night, and he's just gone home this morning. And he sent this beautiful email this morning just saying how wonderful it is that, you know, all these different people have come together, and we're still listening, we're still working, we still all really care. We've all got ideas about how the show could be better, and that's really unique. You know, there's a real collaboration, and I think that's what's special about this show, these different elements that are coming together. And it's not just, you know, just us playing Queen songs. There's a real magic, a real kind of special element to it.
What is, I mean, finally, I just want to ask you about the Queen music. You know, I mean, this is something we grew up with. You know, I remember being at school, and It's a Kind of Magic was in the charts, and it was just huge then. And obviously coming from the 80s and 90s, and you're going back to the 70s, and now, what is it about this music? It never dies. It just keeps coming to the generation. New generations keep liking it.
Yeah.
It is, isn't
it?
I
don't know. I think it's just timeless. I mean, I think good songs are just timeless. You know, that there are songs that have, you know, I take it back to Anything Goes. You know, Cole Porter's classic songs. I Get a Kick Out of You, You're the Top, Anything Goes. Both they're great songs, and I think great songs are timeless. And it's the same with Queen songs. Doesn't matter how you play them. You can play them with a band, with an orchestra, with an acoustic. You know, they're great. It doesn't matter how you do it, and good songs are good songs are good songs. And
play them at the wedding disco, and everybody gets up.
Exactly. And you know, and it's amazing how they just keep coming to new generations. Like, my kids know them because obviously they've heard me sing them, but through all the Disney films, through the Pixar films, through the adverts, through, you know, they're just constantly on and make you feel good. So I think that's it. You know, they're our national treasures, aren't they? I mean, they're just
yeah. It is. It's timeless music, and I think they're one of those bands. Some of those songs they're the kind of songs that remind you of a certain place where you were in your life and what you were doing, or a certain holiday. They're that iconic that they spin memories, don't they?
Well, it's interesting because our Bjarke, who's the lead singer, in the band, we did the first sound check in Derby a couple of days ago, and I sang No One But You, and he obviously isn't singing it, so he sat out in the audience and listened, and the band played and the orchestra played, and he sobbed, absolutely sobbed. And I was like, what's the matter, what's going on? And he said, in that moment, he said, I don't know what it is, but it just took me back to my childhood and remembering listening to Queen songs for the first time, and which is quite unique because it's not your typical Queen song, No One But You. But he said it was just in that moment, it took him back to his mum, and his mum playing the song to him, and it just overwhelmed him. And I think that's it. We all have those moments, those associations with these songs.
Oh, well, in fact, we just have to mention that you come to Newcastle on Wednesday the 21st. I might have to try and say that's next week.
Yeah, we've got. I think we've got 5 shows left. We're at Leeds tonight. We got a London show next week. We go to Scotland, Canterbury. Yeah, we've got a few shows left. So, but yeah, it's all on the Queen Machine website.
It is.
wonderful world of Google. Just Google Queen Machine and you'll find us.
myticket.co.uk/artist/queen-machine/symphonic.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? I don't want to say that again.
I'm glad you've got that and I haven't.
Kerry, thanks for joining the fan carpet.
Thank you.
Nice to speak to you
so
again. Hopefully I'll see you again sometime on the red carpet. Last time I spoke to you was the Olivias.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was what, the one just gone?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was so much fun. I loved it.
And it didn't rain.
I know.
It always rains at the Olivias.
I know. I've never been nominated yet, would you believe? So I need to get up there, get nominated for an Olivier.
Well, yeah. Well, there's anything goes for next year, I'm sure.
Well,
thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Kerry. Bye.
You too. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for more content next time.
I'm here on the largest of the Balearic Islands, Mallorca. With the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean Sea, beautiful mountainous landscape, the thriving city of Palma, quaint little market towns, a growing number of luxury hotels, it's no surprise that the likes of Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor like to holiday here. So come and join me as I take you round Mallorca.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.